Alright guys, so in this video I'm going to look at on the ground, looking at a site and looking at what sort of signs, marks, ground colour, formations, things like that to look out for. I'm looking at an old building at the moment where I've actually just recently pulled out a couple of good silver coins that I'll post in the video later. I'll show you what to look out for, what I like to do when I'm looking at old building sites that are obviously at this one here in the background, just this side of that blue fence behind me. There was actually a building where it had where the nuns used to live when this actually was operated as a church and was ran as a Catholic school. So I'm going to run this video through what I like to look at, what I like to do when I get to a building site, and how I detect that site, just to give you guys an insight of, or tips or tricks of how to do it, which I find are the best ways of looking at these places and to get the most out of it in the shortest amount of time as possible. I've got permission for this site, so I can come here whenever I like. I love this site. It's put out many of coins and many relics, and some of my favourite relics have actually come off this site. So enjoy. I hope you find something out of it and hope you get something from it. As I know that some of you guys have been asking for help and stuff like that off the metal detecting Country New South Wales Facebook page, and so I hope you guys enjoy it and I hope you guys get something from it. Post a comment down below and tell me anything else you'd like to know or anything you'd like to learn more of from detecting, just to help you guys get further and get better at this lovely hobby we all like to do. Alright guys, enjoy. Alright, so as you would have just seen in the time-lapse video, what I like to do with old building sites to give it a first scope is where people would actually have been around the outside of the building. So the front door entrance, the rear door entrance, what would have been the most likely, most used entrance to that building. And for this site here, the front wouldn't have been overly used too much. The back would have been hardly used more than the front. The back entrance. So that's why you see me do a quick outline of the building. So I do the perimeter of where the building would have been. So right around and right through, and then from there I can gather whatever you dig up. Certain things you can find, like you might find a key, you might find like toys. I just found a car. So you know, these things all indicate to sort of high traffic areas. So I use those as a way of plotting out where the highest traffic would have been. Along the sides of this building, not too many targets. I found a lot of old lead washers that they would have used to seal the nails on the tin roofs, things like that. We're on the back edge of the building. I found coins across the front. I found a car. So you know, things like this. So certain areas were different compared to the others, and so I put those together and go, right, so I know that the back was the way that they would have come to and from the school, across, through and into the back of the building would have been used twice as much as what the front would have been, because the front is sort of a little bit obscure compared to the back, to the rest of the outlet layout of the rest of the buildings around here. So I go through, and that's what I do. So I like doing the outline, because when a building's been removed, a lot of the stuff on the inside is everything's pulled up and out. So carpet, things like that, all those things where coins or relics or, you know, all these things that we look for would have been lifted up and unfortunately probably been put in the back of a skip and then turfed. Whereas around the outside, where people would have walked around the outside of the building, up and down the front steps, the veranda, all these places are great places where coins and things like that can fall through the cracks of the veranda, or the wood in the veranda, and fall through to the ground. So that's what I like to do, and I find that in the middle of the house you don't get as many relics as you do around the borders of the house. This is just from experience that I've had. Not saying that that's 100% the same every time, but this experience that I had is that I find that going around the outside of where the building would have been and doing those first, you get a lot more targets, you get a lot more hits, and I find a lot more relics that way, or a lot more coins that way. So, and that's what I do, is like I said in the time lapse, I do an outline. And the other thing is, then you can plot exactly where the front door was sometimes. Like if you find a key, go, okay, that might have been underneath the front doormat on the veranda, and it fell through the veranda. Boom, that's where the front door was, and that's where the highest traffic's going to be. So if you get iffy targets around that key, you know what I mean, we'll use that key as a locator to go, right, I'm going to detect around where I found this key and really go, oh, that's a bit of an iffy signal. I'm going to dig it because this is in a high traffic area. It could be the fact that the coin might be on its edge and it's giving you a little bit of an iffy signal or a weak signal, and you just because at that time you might go, no, I might not dig that because I don't know what it is. It's telling me it might be rubbish. But since you've done that on-ground research and gone, that's where that key, I found that key, this is a high spot, I'm going to dig it, you got more chances of finding those good targets that way. And that's what I like to do, and that's what I like doing with these building layouts. And then what I'll do is I'll go through the center of the building and I'll do the crosshatch back and forth, and then I'll do it the other way. And like I said, I don't find too many targets. You might find a good target here and there, but you won't find as many, because when they rip this stuff through, like I said, the house is all picked up and then thrown into the back of the skip. But that's the first thing I like to do when I come to these building sites, because it gives me a great detail of the way of the house would have been, orientation, things like that. If you don't have pictures, or if you haven't been on Trove, satellite, things like that, they can give you a real good sort of idea of how to pick out the layout of a building. Like I said, I'll place some pictures, I'll throw a video in of some of the targets I've pulled out of this site. Some great coins have come off just where this building was, and like I said, I found some nice silver coins at the back of the building. That's because the high traffic area, most likely use of traffic in and out to go to the school and where the church used to be. So that's what I like to do. If you guys want any more information on this, by all means, post a comment, tell me if you like it, and yeah, hopefully that gives you a good idea of what to do once you find an old house site. It can be any house site too. If the building was there, then you'd be looking around the outside. You wouldn't be crawling too much underneath the building unless you're feeling a bit of interest. But alright, so these are some of the signs and stuff that I look for when I'm out. Obviously you can see I've had a bit of a check around here, but you'll notice around this area here you got all these different types of like white and blue pebble, and they go on a nice little line right across the back of the site. And you can see when they've gone through where the house used to be, you can see that they've gone through and they've backfilled with a soft soil. So when you dig your first target in there, the thing to look for is the depth of how much soil they've put in. So you'll find that they'll have a layer of their soft soil to a certain stage and the original soil in which the house probably would have sat on originally. And that's where you want to get. So you adjust your sensitivity of your detector to suit. You either crank it right up or you crank it to a certain level where you're finding the target you're after. And like I said, and you can see this line of nice sort of gravel just going straight through here, right on the edge of the back of the house. The other signs I look for, footings. There's one nice one. Back of the house, as we all know, wet areas. So this here to me, a bit of a slab here. And what do you do when you wash your clothes? You pull stuff out of pockets, or you forget to take coins and stuff like that, money out of your pockets when you do your laundry. So things like that. So I know this area here, going right around there, would probably been a laundry or a linen of some sort. Drain pipe, so that tells me outside of the building, and then off we go in that little courtyard area, as you'll see in the picture that I'll insert into the video. But things like that, they're good things to look out for. So that row, dirt, foundations, these are all these little things you look for in the front of the site. The orientation of the building towards the road or its main thoroughfare, things like that. So, and like I said, through here would have been where the building originally sit. Not so many targets. I'll just take you out towards the front. Bit of intermission. And here we go. So you can see that through here you got the front of the building. Now, another thing that can give sort of things away is sprinkler systems. I know people might not think about this, but you wouldn't put a sprinkler system under the house, would you? But you might set the sprinkler heads up, 1, 2, 3, to spray the water out and onto the front lawn, things like that. So as you're going through, the metal detector will pick up the sprinkler heads, mark them out sometimes, put a stick in the ground, or I leave the head uncovered, because then you swing over it next time, you go, oh, it's just a sprinkler head, move on. Alright, things like that. So they give you orientation of, or the squareness, or that line of parallel compared to the road, or that line of parallel, the house might have been sitting slightly crooked on the block and things like that. So it's another things to look out for. Alright. Alright, so just going out for a quick night check. I'll come over this real sharp 90 signal. So I'm hoping for a penny out of this one. Oh no, here we go, what's this? Oh, it's a sixpence. 1919. Oh wow, that's pretty. Very nice. Very happy with that.